Okay, let's go over this test so you guys can retake the ones that you missed. You can just go to the ones you need. You don't need to watch all of them. So, first of all, it says write each phrase as an algebraic expression. And so instead of numbers, or rather instead of words, we're changing it to numbers. So it says the product of a number x and 10. Well, the product means to multiply. What am I multiplying? X and 10. And what I taught you is the number always comes first and the variable comes second. So it's written like this, 10x. That's called the coefficient and the variable. So the product of a number x and 10, we've done that, is added to. Added to is plus in math. What is it added to? 8. I'm done with that one. Okay, second one, a number z. So I better write down the z first. A number z. And what happens to the number z? Well, it says it's decreased by 20. If I'm decreasing it, it's getting less than. Is decrease, subtract 20. I'm done with that one. Not a hard problem. Okay, now we're doing the opposite. It's giving us the algebraic expression, and we have to change it into words, into a phrase. This is the exact one on the test, so I'm going to change it. If it said 3n plus 2, we'll use that one instead. Okay, if 3 and n are side by side, I know I'm multiplying them, and so once again, it is the product. So I'm going to write the product. The product of 3 and n, and what's happening to it? Is added. It's being added, right, with the plus sign, is added. Is added to 2. Okay? All right. Number 4, it says to evaluate. That means to solve. Okay, it says 3y take away 2, but it tells you what y is. Y is 9. So I'm going 3 times y, or in this case, 3 times 9. 3 times 9 is 27, and I subtract 2. 27 minus 2, my answer, 25. Just plugging in the values for all 3 of these problems, okay? Here we go. 3x plus y, and it tells us that x is 5 and y is 2. So instead of x, I'm putting a 5, so I go 3 times 5, which is 15. I keep my plus sign, and it tells me to add 2, because I'm adding y, which is 2. 15 plus 2, 17. Okay, now you're evaluating an expression again, and it's telling you that x equals 7. So instead of x, I'm going to put a 7. 5 times 7 is 35, and I times it by 3, it says. Well, 3 times 35 is 105. Problem solved. Okay, this one, write an equation. Okay, to have an equation, you have to have an equal sign. And you have to determine how to make that equation. So I look at 2, I go from x to y, x to y, x to y. How do I get from 2 to 10? Well, maybe I add 8, but see if it works every time. The equation has to work for all of them. 2 plus 8 is 10. 4 plus 8 is 12. Whoops, didn't work. What's another way to get from 2 to 10? Well, I can times by 5. 2 times 5 is 10. See if it works here. 4 times 5 is 20. Oh, it worked. 6 times 5 is 30. 10 times 5 is 50. It works every time. So the answer every time, which is y, I write y, and I have to have my equal sign because it's an equation. Y equals every single time whatever x is times 5, right? So I write 5x because the number always comes before the variable. Y equals 5x every time. Okay, complete the table. This is just like numbers 4, 5, and 6. They're telling you what x is. When x is 2, what's the answer to this expression? Well, 4 times 2 is 8 plus 3. Some of you just put this as the answer. You're supposed to put what 8 plus 3 equals. Okay, the final answer is 11. This time I'm going to plug in a 3. 4 times 3 is 12. I add 3, and I get 15. This one, 4 times 4 is 16. I add 3, and I get 19. This one, 4 times 5 is 20. I add 3, and I get 23. That is how you solve and complete this table. Okay, number 9. We are combining like terms. It says to simplify the expression. Well, I see the last name of x, x, and x. So I can combine all those x's. I have 1x here, plus 2 more are 3x's, plus 5 more are 8x's total, so I write 8x. But that's not the only thing. There's also a 7 with no last name. It's by itself. So the final answer, 8x plus 7. Okay, once again, we got to simplify this expression. I see a 3 on the outside of parentheses. So by the distributive property, I need to multiply this 3 by everything inside the parentheses. 3 times 2 is 6. Keep the same sign. Plus 3 times y is 3y. That's all you had to do for that. Okay, number 11. I see that there are parentheses here. By the order of operations, I have to solve the parentheses first. So I multiply this 4 by everything inside the parentheses. 4 times 2a is 8a. Keep the same sign, plus, and 4 times b is 4b. I cross this out because I just solved that. Okay, I still have minus 3a and plus 6. This is not the final answer. We need to combine any terms that have the same last name. I see an a here and an a here. 8a's minus 3a's are 5a's. The only one with the last name of b is 4b, so I keep it 4 plus 4b. And the only whole number or constant here is a 6, so I keep it plus 6. That's my final answer. 5a plus 4b plus 6. Number 12, it's the same thing. You're combining things with the same last name. I see last name of x, last name of x. 4x's plus 3x's makes 7x's. 2 y's take away a y. I'm only left with 1y, or just y. Final answer, 7x plus y. Okay, going over the back side. Factor the expression using the greatest common factor. You have to do the biggest factor, the biggest number that goes into both 15 and 25. Which happens to be 5. So I write down 5, I make some parentheses, keep the same sign in the middle, and I ask myself, what times 5 is 15? 3 times 5 is 15. What times 5 is 25? 5. That's all you had to do. 5 parentheses, 3 plus 5. Number 14 was the exact same way. You have to find the greatest common factor of 16 and 24. Okay, 8 is the greatest common factor. I put 8 on the outside. I make my parentheses with my plus sign. What times 8 is 16x? Well, 2 times 8 is 16, and then I have to have an x so that when I multiply the 8 and 2x, I still have 16x. I have the x there. What times 8 is 24? 3 times 8 is 24. So final answer, 8 in the parentheses, or rather 8 outside the parentheses, and inside 2x plus 3. The last problem tells you that to find volume, you're going to go 15 times w times 6. So you know that you're going to have to do that. 15 times w times 6, and then it tells you what w is. It says w is 3. So instead of w, I'm going to go 15 times 3 times 6. Okay? Well, 15 times 3 is 45. And 45 times 6, you probably don't know it in your head. You have to do it on the paper. 45 times 6. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 3 more is 27. 270. And it'll be inches times inches times inches, so it's inches cubed for the final answer, 270 inches cubed. When you're done making all the corrections, please bring your paper to me and I can change your score from yesterday. Thanks for caring enough to redo your test, and have a great day.